Hey, I'm not a relationship coach. In fact, I flatly refuse to offer my clients relationship advice, even when they badger me to do so. But over the last decade or more of seeing clients one-to-one to help them with all things related to the mind, I've inevitably become involved in a fair few discussions about relationships. What this means is I've come to recognize a few things about what makes a good relationship and what makes one that's doomed. In this video, and in no small part because it's Valentine's Day, I'd like to share my thoughts. I'm Tim Box, and these are my 7 top tips for a good relationship. So welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, I'm Tim Box, I'm a mind coach. And for the last 12 years or so, I've been working with people to help them overcome all sorts of emotional and psychological issues. And in particular, helping people to get control of anxiety. So it's Valentine's Day, which means it's that time of year again when our focus turns towards the ones we love and we seek to do whatever we can to remind them, just in case they'd forgotten, how much we love and appreciate them. Or if we're currently single, we might find ourselves wishing we had a significant other, maybe sending an anonymous card to that person we've always liked, but have never found the courage to approach. Or maybe all this talk and demonstrative acts of love has us looking at our own relationship and wondering what went wrong. Relationships can be a source of great anxiety at times, so this year I've put together a brief guide for finding and maintaining the right relationship and also avoiding the wrong one. It's a real source of annoyance for those who are desperately seeking love when someone in a great relationship tells them that they'll find love when they stop looking for it. Is there anything more frustrating than being told that the thing you're putting a large amount of effort into is actually effortless? But there's a reason why this annoying trope is actually true. We've all at some time in our life attempted to appear cooler than we actually are. We might even have ended up in relationships before where to get with that particular person, we offered up a version of ourselves that wasn't completely honest and not really sustainable. We all do it. When we see someone we like, we instantly try and guess what version of us would be most appealing to them. Maybe we even decide the real us is in no way good enough to attract them, so we put on a metaphorical mask and become someone we feel might have a better chance. The problem here is that then if we do succeed in attracting their attention, we will forever be hiding certain aspects of our true self and live in fear of being found out. Now, I'm not talking serial killer level secrets here, I just mean that front we put on, the mask that we'll sometimes wear to offer up our best bits and hide our worst. This often leads us into relationships that don't work because we're constantly pretending and maintaining them is exhausting. This is why we have a better chance of finding the right person when we stop looking. When we feel comfortable being on our own with no partner, then we drop the act and become comfortable with the idea of nobody finding us attractive enough to hook up with. We don't miss what we're not looking for. As a result, whatever version of us that people see is the real version. Then when someone finds that attractive, maintaining that version of ourselves is effortless. Also, as luck would have it, the person who finds the natural version of you appealing is very likely to be someone you naturally find appealing. It's really funny how that works out. There are a million different ways that relationships can go wrong, but the rock-solid, cast-iron certain way of destroying all hope of a great relationship from the very outset is to work on the principle, I won't trust you until you earn my trust. We might do this because we've been hurt and betrayed in the past and are now making the mistake of judging any upcoming potential partner by the standards of the person who failed us. This utterly destroys any chance of a successful relationship for one main reason. If we hold back before we give our all into a relationship, then most likely so will our partner. Then we both hold back waiting for the other person to prove themselves and we never get to a comfortable place with each other. The only way to set up the chance of success in a relationship is to start off on the footing that I will trust you completely until you display yourself to be untrustworthy. If we give everything from the off, then we allow the person we're with to give everything as well. Then we very quickly find out if we work as a couple and potentially we create a strong bond where we get to share the very best of each other. Now, you might well be feeling resistance to that idea because it leaves you open to being hurt. But here's the thing, we've all experienced hurt and heartache and it never feels great. However, if we've made peace with tip number 1, then the end of a relationship, whilst upsetting, never needs to be soul destroying. But this leads us on neatly to tip number 3. So when I'm asked to give relationship advice, shortly before you see me vanish, leaving a tin box shaped puff of smoke as I head for the hills, you might hear me give this piece of advice. Whether we stay with someone or not, we're best advised not to make any decisions based on fear. How often do we decide to stay in the wrong relationship because we fear being alone? How often do we sabotage a great relationship because we fear commitment? Is our current relationship the right one for us or not? It's the eternal question we ask ourselves. But whatever the answer turns out to be, we're more likely to make the right decision if our choice isn't simply made in order to avoid whatever consequence we most fear. Here's the thing. Relationships will come and go, and our mind is constantly learning from each experience. But don't limit your options just because at some point you learned that certain types of experience lead to pain. The pain we feel from the first heartbreak is a lot worse than the pain from the 10th. These wounds heal and we toughen up as we grow, not because we cut off our emotions and refuse to connect in case we get hurt, but because with each setback, we learn that life goes on and we do smile again. The first time we get our heart broken, we don't know that yet, and it feels like the end of the world. Then we find out that we do recover and life does continue. So the next time we get our heart broken, it's not quite so bad. So whatever choices you make relationship-wise, just make sure your choices aren't tainted by fear, because fear will have you taking the wrong turns for the wrong reasons. Many of us have experienced that first date where the person we're meeting has sat down and almost immediately told us they're looking for someone they can marry or have kids with. And maybe it felt a little full on and might have even scared us away. But there's nothing more important for a relationship than making sure you agree on the big stuff early on. Maybe not the first date, but certainly long before you start to really care about each other. Marriage, kids, life goals. If you fail to talk this stuff through early, you set yourself up for either unreasonable compromise, an unfulfilling existence, or an inevitable bad breakup in the future, just at the point when you've now begun to truly care about each other. Being honest and upfront and unafraid to talk through the important stuff is paramount to a successful relationship. Also, in this age of dating websites where you can put whatever information you want to right up front before you even interact with someone, there's just no excuse to find yourself in a relationship with someone you've started to care about, only to find out they disagree on some major aspect of life and where you see yourself heading in the future. You may have heard the old proverb about the boiling frog. If you put a frog in boiling water, it will instantly jump out because it recognizes the water is too hot to sit in. However, if you put a frog in cool water and slowly raise the temperature, it will sit there without moving until it eventually boils. It simply doesn't notice the temperature is becoming intolerable. Please don't try that at home. This isn't a lesson about frogs. The point is that many people exist in a bad relationship because they haven't noticed just how bad it's become. We look at people who have to deal with verbal or physical abuse from their partner and we wonder why they put up with it. But of course it didn't start out like that on day one. At first it was all good and things gradually worsened little by little over time. I'll often ask a client to imagine themselves lifted out of the current situation. If you weren't already sitting in that water, would you be jumping into it? They'll tell me no, and yet there they are, currently sitting in it. In terms of relationship advice, if you can't wake up every morning and think, if I wasn't currently with this person, I'd be trying to get with them, then something needs to be addressed. Either do what is necessary to lower the temperature of the water so it's no longer boiling, or jump the hell out. Every couple will have disagreements. Every partnership will at times involve one angering or upsetting the other. This is okay. We're all unique, and as much as we might work as a couple, it doesn't mean we will always be perfectly in sync. The one thing you need to always remember is that once a line is crossed, you'll find it hard to reverse back over it. Once you start name calling and threatening, you've set the tone for your disagreements now. The first time you hang up the phone in anger or frustration, you can bet that any future arguments will end with one of you metaphorically or literally putting the phone down. No matter how upset you might be or how vehemently you disagree about something, always remember the person you're talking to is the person you love most in the world. This is your teammate through life. If you say things you don't mean that are purely designed to hurt, then expect the relationship itself to take the damage. If you love the person in front of you, then never forget that, even when your interactions or disagreements become passionate. So a real pet peeve of mine is that idea that a relationship is hard work. People in relationships that have never been quite right, or bad marriages, will try and convince you that a good relationship is constant hard work. Sorry, but I just don't believe that. Yes, there are times when patience is the order of the day. There are times when you'll have to call on your best qualities to solve the current puzzle. Yes, there are times when you'll feel you've been treated unfairly. But if you regard this process as hard work, if you frame your relationship as attritional, then it just might not be the right relationship for either of you. Life is hard work. There's no doubt about it. At times, life will throw you challenges you don't feel you can overcome and deal you a hand that seems horribly unfair. But your relationship should be the thing that gets you through the hard stuff. It should be the thing that makes life slightly less hard work. It should be the thing that relieves some of the burden, not adds to it. Your relationship is meant to be the thing that strengthens you against the storm rather than another aspect of life that is draining and challenging. If a relationship becomes the latter, then it might be the wrong one. Now, all of this might seem kind of daunting. How are we meant to find the right person with all the things that could potentially go wrong and all the potential missteps we might take? Well, here's the thing. Statistics suggest that your current relationship isn't the one. After all, how many failed relationships does each human being have compared to how many they ended up growing old together with? The odds are against this current one being the final one. However, we don't need to feel afraid of this truth because, of course, we only need to find one. We're only looking for that one person who we feel completely connected with, the person who loves us for who we truly are and who we love just the way they are. Yes, we're going to meet a lot of people in life who aren't that person. That's okay. And honestly, I'm not sure I believe in the idea that destiny made that one person who's perfect for us, and that's the one we're supposed to meet and fall in love with. I think maybe there are many people out there who could potentially be the one. But I do know this, as much as you might not believe in destiny, experience tells me that when you meet the right person, they can feel so right for you and so much like they were made to order that you might just start to believe in destiny. Okay, there you have it, my top tips for a good relationship. But one final thought. Always remember that the best way of finding someone who can offer you the relationship you might be looking for and the love you deserve is to demonstrate that attitude to yourself first. The truth is you don't have to settle for second best. Don't simply resign yourself to an unhappy or unfulfilling relationship because maybe you think this is the best you can do, or maybe you don't deserve any more than this. Give the best of you and demand the best of them. Treat yourself with love and kindness and don't entertain the prospect of someone who can't do the same. Okay, I hope this video has been of value. What do you think of my relationship advice? Do you agree? Have I missed anything? Let me know in the comments below. Please hit that thumbs up button if you like what I do, and why not subscribe to the channel for weekly mind management tips and anxiety advice. But that's it for now. I'm Tim Box, Mind Coach. Always remember to be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.